All right, what's up, guys? Today is April 20, 420, aka Bob Marley's birthday, aka Smoke Weed All Day. So, a couple things I want to talk about today is topics include short squeezes, topics about process, topics about confidence, and a bunch of other things too. So, what I want to talk about, which is very fucking important, which is where I screwed up today, is where I want to start. So, before all that stuff, I want to mention that if anyone is telling you that trading is easy and you could turn $1 into $1 million, just ignore it. Right? Just ignore it because that's not true. Trading is very difficult. Even on days that I make money like today, I still struggle a little bit mentally. I've been doing this for about 6 years now, and I'm still sometimes getting sloppy. So I want to kind of talk about that. So historically, Mondays have been my worst performing days in the stock market. And the reason why is it's so simple, man. It's because I love trading, guys. I love it. Uh, I always understood what Bao meant when he said if someone cut off my hands, I would still find a way to trade with my feet. And back in the day, I used to think he was crazy, but now I understand that that is the thing that truly makes him happy, right? I know Bao, he has everything that he wants in this world. He loves creating experiences, but what he loves more than creating experiences is he just loves trading. It's just something in his blood that brings him happiness when he trades, right? So I know what that's like. I love it too. I can't live without it. So that's where my problem first starts, right? The problem is that I love it so much that I get a little bit over eager. I get a little bit over anxious. I tend to get in early. Now, why does this happen, right? If you guys know, Monday has been my worst performing day every single time, right? Mondays are usually when I perform the worst. And that is because over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we are not trading. Yet, I am still thinking about trading. I'm excited about trading. I love trading. So coming into Monday, I always have FOMO. I always find myself getting in too early. I always find myself getting sloppy. I always find myself um, trading shit the way that I shouldn't, right? I'm trading with my balls rather than my mind. So let's kind of talk about the stocks today. So today we had a couple stocks running. We had stocks like SFET running. We had stocks like MBY running. We had stocks like CYCC running. And we had the other A stock. Can you guys post that A stock so I can talk about it? I forgot the ticker. But so what I love to do on Mondays is this. I love, or AVCT, thank you guys. I'm going to forget about it so you guys can mention it later. So, what I usually like to do every day, but especially on Mondays, is take it slow, right? I have a rule not to trade pre market. And if I do trade pre market because the opportunity is so good, I am only allowed to use a tenth of my size. This is what keeps me safe. This is what keeps me out of trouble, guys. So, coming into today, right? Coming into today, I found myself trading pre-market, right? So already off the bat, guys, already off the bat, I am breaking my process. And if you know anything about the way that we trade, is that most of the time when we lose, it's because we deviate from our process. Now I'm thinking back, right? I'm thinking back and I'm thinking to myself, why the hell was I even trading in pre-market? Why the fuck was I, even if it's 1/10 size, why was I trading pre-market? So I went back and I said to myself, all right, the stock topped out MBY, right? That was the stock I was trading pre-market. It topped out at $1.70 pre-market. It washed out and then it popped towards, I think it was $1.55 or $1.60. So I shorted the lower high pre-market because I waited for the stock to top, waited for it to tank, and shorted the bounce. So ideally, I was sticking to my process, right? Give me a sec. Let me pass this FedEx truck. Um, so I was sticking to my process by shorting the bounce, and it was with a tenth of the size. The problem was that not only was I breaking process by shorting pre-market, when I was in the money, right? When I was up 10 or 15 cents, I didn't take the money. If you look at my NBY chart, there was at least 2 or 3 times that I could have taken a quick $100 day or a quick $200 gain, and I didn't. Instead, I ended up stopping out for a loser. So I made a plan and I told myself, all right, if MBY reclaims 160, 170, breaks pre-market high of the day, I am stopping out. I stopped out right before the market opened for a $200 or $300 loss. I posted that to the room. And in the morning, when the stock popped, had I not had my initial trades on it, I would have made money. So what today showed me is that I am my own worst enemy. Anytime I trade pre-market, I'm the fucking idiot. Anytime I don't take the quick gains, I'm the fucking idiot. So today on MBY, when I top ticked it at $1.85 at the open, I think it was, I top ticked it at $1.85 and I covered at like $1.60 with small size. Wow, this FedEx truck probably hates me. Um, that was the first trade of the day that said to myself, you're an idiot. Do you not notice that every time you trade the open only, you make money? Stop trading pre-market. So that was number one, right? Number two is after it tanked, I shorted the bounce towards VWAP, and that's where most of my money came from. I shorted the bounce 165, and I covered at 150. I posted that trade too. That made me green on the trade plus more. So now MBY was taken care of. That was a trade that I lost money pre-market. Had I just waited for the open, I would have nailed it. So that's just another thing that's ingrained in my head. Do not trade pre-market. So now what I've noticed is that because I'm trading pre-market, I need to now have a punishment for myself for trading pre-market. Because the way that it works in trading, guys, is you have to have rewards and you have to have punishments. You have to have rewards when things go right, and you have to have punishments when things go wrong. So I'll give you an example, right? I'll give you an example. I had a great week last week. I had a great month last month, yet I did not reward myself for this, right? So I made 160 grand in March, and last week I made 13 grand, right? So it's a great amount of money, yet I did not reward myself, so it did not click in my head. So yesterday I went online shopping, I bought some new sneakers, whatever. That was a reward for all my hard work. Now, because I broke pre-market, because I broke a pre-market rule, I am giving myself a punishment, right? Now the punishment could be something as simple as, for me, no chocolate cake or no steak for a week, right? Because I know that I want chocolate cake and steak for the week. But do I want it good and more than I should? Do I want it more than I want to break my pre-market rule? So going forward, I am setting a new rule for myself. If I trade pre-market, does not matter if I make money, does not matter if I lose money. I am not allowed to have steak and chocolate cake for a week, right? Maybe to you that sounds crazy, but to me that's one of the things that makes me really happy and that I don't want to lose. Or something like if I break my pre-market rule, I have to fucking work out on the day. I hate working out. I hate it more than anything. But doing this type of punishment is going to keep me from making the same mistake again. Do you guys understand this? Because if you are not having a punishment for your mistakes, you're just going to keep fucking doing it, right? So that's something to take note of. So that's something that I am trying to do that is making me proactive, right? I am trying to be proactive. Notice how I am recognizing my mistakes. My mistake is trading pre-market, and I am creating a process around this mistake to make sure that it doesn't happen again, right? Everyone is different. Everyone has a different personality. I have specific rules that I'm sticking to. And if I break those specific rules, that's when I get a punishment, right? If your rule is that you are not allowed to trade stocks above $5 and you trade a stock that's $8, you broke a rule, punishment, right? So remember that, guys. Remember that. What a lot of people do at professional firms like hedge funds and prop firms and this and that is when they break a rule, when they go outside of their guardrails, they are not allowed to trade the next day. So think about that as well. Imagine if someone told you that if you break your rules, you are not allowed to trade the next day. I know Bao would be the most disciplined motherfucker in the world because the guy loves trading. So there's different punishments based on different personalities and different people, but the point always goes back to the same thing. Rewards for doing things right, bought a new pair of sneakers. Punishment for doing things wrong, no steak and chocolate cake. That's the point, guys. That's the point. So now that we've taken SFET and talked about that mistake and talked about that, let's talk about, not SFET, MBY. We talked about MBY right now. Let's talk about what happened today on these short squeeze stocks. So what was that A stock again, guys? I forgot it already. Can you just type it in the chat and I'm going to talk about it? Excuse me. AVCT. Thank you, guys. Okay, so AVCT was a stock that was running pre-market. And something that's very important to note is currently in this day, today, 420, the market has been very, very, very lenient for short sellers. Short sellers that have been attacking pre-market have been getting rewarded. Short sellers that have been having FOMO at the open have been rewarded. Short sellers have been getting the easy way out lately. And how do I know this? Because I'm one of them and I've been seeing the action. So oftentimes what ends up happening is when these shorts have been in control for too long, when the shorts have been just shorting everything with their eyes closed and making money, that is a fucking telltale signal that shit is about to change and shit is about to change real quick. Now, what do I mean? The way that a short squeeze happens, if you do not know this, is when there are way too many shorts that have the same exact idea on a stock, right? Everyone is shorting because it's garbage. Everyone says that there's no way it could go up. There's dilution. There's this, there's that. They're just shorting and shorting and shorting and shorting. Eventually, they're going to have to cover an exit and buy up the stock higher, which is going to lead to a domino effect of it going higher. So, whenever we have a market where shorts have been in control for too long, I always take a pause, right? I always take a pause. And sometimes I talk to Austin about this. Sometimes I talk to other people about this. But usually, every time that I get kind of this weird feeling that shorts have it too easy, the next day, the next week, the next month, we get a very, very large runner. So today, pre-market on ABCT, we had a stock that went from $2 up to $7, right? $2 up to $7. And I'm telling everyone in the room, stay away from it. Stay away from it. It has been long overdue for a short squeeze. We haven't had a short squeeze in a long time. The stock is easy to borrow and it is squeezing up. So I did very well not touching that pre-market, right? Because that never topped out. MBY topped out and bounced. So I looked for a trade and I found it wrong. On the bright side, this ABCT was going straight up, straight up, straight up. I was not interested at all, right? I was not interested at all. So what ended up happening on that stock is it went all the way to $7. And by the time the market opened, it was like $5 or $4. And now I'm thinking to myself, all right, the stock has tanked. All I have to do is short the bounce. So in the morning, we washed out to $3.50, I think it was, and the stock bounced towards 4. So I basically took a trade short 380, 390 with a stop at $4 because that's the place where I thought my trade thesis was no longer valid. I exited for a loss, a $300, $400 loss when it broke $4. It immediately shot up to $5. Had I been stubborn, had I not stopped out, I would have lost 3 grand. I shorted some at $5. I covered some slowly down along the way. And that trade was basically a trade that in the morning I had zero interest in. In the morning, it didn't make sense to me. But when it tanked, I was able to adjust my plan and short it because at that point it had topped out. As short sellers, right? As short sellers, we have to remember that our job is to make money and short stocks that are broken. We never, ever, 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 ever want to short stocks that are continually making their way higher. We don't want to look for tops. We don't want to be a hero and top tick the stock and show everyone that. That shit doesn't matter. We want the stock to tank and then we want it to bounce to attack it. So ABCT or ABC or whatever the hell the ticker was tanked from 7 all the way to 3 and bounced to 5. To me, that bounce is a dead cat bounce because all of the longs are now stuck on that stock. No more shorts are stuck on that stock, which gave me the ability to take a small trade without size on that stock. Now let's talk about CYCC. Again, it's everything today is going back to the same theme. Which stock is going to be the one that squeezes everyone to oblivion? Which stock is going to be the short squeeze of the day, of the month, of the year, right? I welcome these short squeezes. I love them. They are amazing opportunities on the long and the short side, but even better are the sympathy plays that follow them. So every time we have a big runner, usually we have sympathy plays. These are the side plays, the side chicks, whatever the hell you want to call it, that run in unison to the main runner. If you talk about the coronavirus plays, the hot chick was, I think, APT. The other stocks were like Codex and stuff like that. So to me, I love these runners because it creates opportunities in the future to make a lot of money. So CYCC today, again, what was the theme? The theme is that shorts have been in control for so long that we need a squeezer stock. Everyone thought it was going to be AVCT. It wasn't. So what happens? All of those longs that thought AVCT was going to be the runner, they sell that stock, leaving this stock and going to the next stock. It's like when you make money on a stock, a lot of these longs, they like to put it into the next stock because they're using house's money, stuff like that. But the point that I'm trying to make is that everyone is looking for the next runner. Everyone is looking for the stock that's going to squeeze everyone out. Most of the time, it's going to be a low float stock. So, let me give you some tips on how you might be able to potentially identify one of these stocks that might potentially become a short squeeze. Number one is a low float, anything under 3 million. Number two is SSR is on. Number three is sexy price point, $2 to $4, right? So if these things are and easy to borrow, if you have these red flags on your stock, chances are during this current market environment, if the float does rotate, if it is above VWAP, if it is easy to borrow, if it has SSR, chances are that it's probably going to go big, right? That doesn't mean that all of them will. It just means that in this current market environment that we are in, we have to be cautious, guys. As a short seller or as a long bias trader, knowing the way a short seller thinks, knowing the way a short acts, all you have to do is do the inverse, and that's what a long is supposed to do. So now, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back. I'm going to watch videos on sector plays. I'm going to watch videos on sympathy plays. I'm going to watch videos on how to go long during zombie time because I feel in my own personal mind, what I think for myself is maybe this week, after all of these short squeezes, after all this stuff, maybe this week I will feel comfortable stepping out of my comfort zone and trying to look for long setups during zombie times with small size to try to adapt to this market. Bao has done a very good job of this, guys. He says, all right, we warn the members not to short these stocks. We warn the members to avoid these stocks. Yet, why can't a button go off in our head that says, all right, whenever we warn the members, that probably means it's a good long. So now I'm going to take something out of Bao's playbook and try to apply that. I've noticed that shorts have been a little bit too comfortable. I've noticed that shorts have been getting bailed out too much. So I want to be on the other side after 10:30 and focus on trying to find long setups on stocks that have rotated their float, on stocks that are easy to borrow, and stocks hopefully that have SSR. So do you guys see the process that I'm trying to create in my head, guys? I'm trying to reverse engineer all this shit and just explain it so that you guys understand as well. Does that all this stuff make sense? So let me talk about what happened with Bao today. So if you saw on Instagram today, Instagram.com/my investing club, you noticed that Bao lost some money today, right? And Bao lost, I think it was 10 or 11 grand, which is a lot of money to a lot of people, but to him, it's not really that much. So let me kind of explain what happened with Bao today, which is also a very, very important topic that a lot of people don't talk about. Bao has been quarantined in California for a very long time. He's been taking the quarantine very seriously. He's been doing very, very well with it. He's been helping the members. He's been incredible, right? So he's been feeling a little bit sick, right? This morning he woke up a little bit sick. He said he was feeling dizzy. He said he was feeling woozy. He said he was kind of not, he was just not out of it, right? And if you know anything about Bao, every morning at 5, 6 a.m., he's always tired. He's always dizzy. He's always woozy. So I just thought it was another day at the office for him. He probably just didn't get enough sleep, whatever. That was my mistake, right? That was my mistake. As a tab, if my partner is telling me that he's tired or dizzy, no matter what, I have to check on him. I have to say, are you okay? Are you good to trade? Are you this? Are you that? My mistake was that I just thought it was a normal day for him. I just thought he didn't get enough sleep. So I failed as a tab today. That was my fault. Number two is whenever you have a fight with your girl, whenever you are having struggles with your kids, or whenever you're struggling with your friends, or a bad day happens, or you stub your toe, I don't give a shit what it is. If you have a bad day mentally, you will have a bad day in the stock market. So the point is that when you're feeling dizzy, when you're feeling woozy, when you're not feeling good, or you have a fight, step away from the market, right? Just for one day, because most of the time you will lose money. But what happened today for Bao was actually great because obviously not a loss is great, but what happened was he has a max loss rule, guys. His max loss rule is about $10,000. If he loses anything more than $10,000, he shuts it down for the day. Um, so today, his max loss saved him, right? His max loss got him out of the stocks and told him, you know what, Bao, you're done for the day. Had he not done that, guys, had he not had these risk parameters in place, he might have lost 20, 30, 40, 50 grand today, right? So this is also something that it always goes back to is what are your risk rules, right? Let me challenge you guys for something, right? Let me give you guys some homework to do, right? I want you guys to write down all of your rules on a piece of paper, right? And what you could do is you could have this piece of paper taped to your desk. You could have this piece of paper taped to your bathroom window and just read off your rules every single day. And here are some key things that you need to have in your rule base. You need to have a maximum sizing rule, which is going to cap the number of shares that you could use. You need to have a maximum sizing rule. I mean, that's basically the same thing. Maximum loss rule is what I meant, which means that if you lose a certain amount of money, then you are not allowed to trade for the rest of the day. You need to have a rule for maybe pulling out money, right? So something that also that I want to make note of is a lot of people ask, how big is your account? You're probably trading with $1 million, right, to make $2,000 a day, $3,000 a day, right? And I just laugh, guys. I laugh because if you have seen one of these other videos, I turned a $35,000 account into like $113,000 in like 30 days. So if you guys don't know this already, let me kind of dispel some of the myths about trading. You do not need a large account to trade, guys. For the type of trading that I am doing personally, where I'm able to make 4 to 10 grand a day, I am trading with a $35,000 account, right? A $35,000 account. And every time I get to $50,000, I wire out $15,000. So let me repeat that. I use a $35,000 account. Every time I get to $50,000 in profits, I pull out 15,000. Now, why do I do that? Number one is because if I have a large account, guys, I get sloppy. If you have $1 million account, if you lose 100K, it's nothing. But if you have a $100,000 account and you lose 80 grand, you're dead, right? You're dead. So that's the point, guys. Remember, we are trading small cap stocks. We are trading stocks that are from the prices of $1 to $5. So using 2,000 shares on a $5 stock is only $10,000 worth of equity, right? So essentially, you do not need a lot of money. So I want to dispel the fact that people think we use millions and millions and millions of dollars. I will take a screenshot of my equity on my account and post it as well so that you guys could see it as well. But the point is that it doesn't take a lot of money to make money trading. Remember, what do we say? Your goal is to make 10 cents, right? If you have 1,000 shares of a $3 stock, a $3,000 position, and you make 10 cents, that is $100. You do that consistently, you are better than 90% of the people trying this. The problems occur when people get greedy. Problems occur when people want too much. Problems occur is when you do stupid shit like me, where you're up in the green on MBY pre-market and you say it's not enough money and you don't take the money and then you end up taking a loss on it. Problems occur when you're greedy and go for all day faders and realize all day faders don't fucking exist anymore, right? It always goes back to the same thing. We are fighting our own mental demons every single day, guys. Every single day we're fighting our own mental demons. I don't consider myself a genius, but I am trying actively every single day to fix my flaws. I am a flawed person. Humans are flawed, right? But what steps are you taking to improve your flaws, guys? Now I have a rule for pre-market trading that tells me I am going to be punished if things don't go right. Now I have a rule that if things go well, I'm going to maybe buy sneakers, I'm going to buy new clothes, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I need to reward myself because the way my fucking dipshit ass brain works is that if I don't reward myself, it doesn't feel real. What is the point of making all this money? What is the point of working fucking 24/7, 8 days a week if I am not equating that money to something that's actually going to bring me even small happiness, whether it be vacation for my family, which is not happening anytime soon because of coronavirus, But shit like that is what I like to spend my money on, guys. But if I am not here spending it, I kind of go crazy, right? It's kind of weird because if you do not equate the money to something real in the real world, it's just numbers on a screen, guys. And that's why I keep a stack of $500 in ones on my trading desk to remind me, shit, man, even fucking $500 in the real world goes a long way, man. We are blessed, guys. We are blessed that everyone else in the world is struggling right now. People are out of a job. There's 15 million unemployed people. Yet here we are making $900 in a day and still complaining, right? Do you see how stupid that is, guys? But these are the things that we deal with as traders. Only traders understand the struggles of another trader, right? If I tell someone that I made $167,000 last month, they're thinking I'm fucking Jordan Belfort or some shit, right? But the truth of the matter is, all right, I made 160. What am I going to do next time an opportunity comes like this to make 200? And it's not a matter of the money, guys. The money is a way that you could grade yourself for the work, right? So I know traders that made millions of dollars last month. I know traders that lost millions of dollars last month, but it always goes back to the same thing. What the fuck are you doing, right? What the fuck are you doing to improve? So that brings me back to my last point. Today's 420. Today is National Smoke Weed Day. Every single person and their mom is going to smoke weed today. So I want to do something for you guys. Instead of sitting home and wasting your day getting high, I want to do a special type of what can I call this? Special type of maybe a 420 discount or something that motivates you guys rather than sitting home and smoking weed to at least start watching the videos. What you guys don't understand is during this quarantine is the best time to be a trader because because you are home. You are home, guys. You cannot do anything. You have so much time to learn, so much time to watch videos, man. What other time in the fucking history are you forced that the government is giving you a check to sit fucking home, right? Use this time while you are home to get a head start, guys. Other people, other times, they have a job. They can't do this, they have that. You are stuck home, guys. You have a check from the government. You have everything that you need to get at least a 1 month head start on this. Watch the videos for a month and then go to trading part time. But unless you have the education, guys, you can't fucking do it. So let's do a special 420 incentive, guys. So text Tosh, the number's 420 to 213-458-5997, and we'll do a special 420 incentive for you guys. But, but, are you going to be serious about this, man? Is this something that you're doing only because you want to get rich? Or is this something that you're doing because you see potential in it? You guys see how hard it is, man. I'm not coming here saying every single day it's easy to make this money. I'm telling you guys that the only way that you can make this money is if you are putting in the work to self improve every day, man. I am not the fucking smartest guy. I am not the fucking most good looking guy. I'm not the fucking skinniest guy, but I am trying every day in fucking God's eyes to improve my process, to become a better version of myself. Because I know that the more that I focus on myself and improving myself, everything else follows, right? It makes me a better brother. It makes me a better son. It makes me a better friend. It makes me a better leader. It makes me a better everything that if I continue to put in the work and try to fix my flaws, guys. So please, instead of using this time to get high and take edibles and listen to Wiz Khalifa and Snoop Dogg, why not try to make enough money to buy the dispensary, right? So that's what I want to talk about, guys. So again, incentive for today is text Tosh using 420, and I will personally work on a deal, an individual deal for you guys to educate and improve, right? So I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. Unless you guys have some questions, let's do a quick 5 minute Q&A, right? So put in your questions here for 5 minutes, and I will start to answer them, guys. Kevin asked a question on the first red day setups. Do you have a set volume to avoid? If anything's less than 100K volume, I'm not touching it. I at least like a minimum of 1 million shares of volume to attack. How do you deal with risk management? Guys, I mentioned this 100 times. This is what you're going to do. Go to youtube.com/myinvestingclub. In the search bar, write risk management and you will see fucking 50 to 100 videos on this stuff. What is my risk? It depends on the chart, right? I'm not just going to say I'm shorting with a blind 5, 10 cent risk. My risk is always the next line on the chart. There's going to be no deal on the monthly. The monthly is way too cheap, but maybe we'll work on something. Um, how much time do you look to learn to read tape? Bao can answer that one. What do you do when none of your low hanging fruit hit the lines? Do you just wait for a trade? I basically don't touch it, right? If it didn't hit my lines, I don't touch it. What gave the mods the conviction today that MBY wasn't going to go higher? We waited for it to go under VWAP and show us that it was going lower. No, I never go big size pre-market. What is your criteria for, okay? Can you scalp for small gains after 10:30? Yes. On the long side, we have something called the zombie rule, where a lot of our long bias traders start their trades at 10:30. I go long about 5% of the time. A lot of people seem interested but not dedicated. I know y'all preach this, but what's one major thing that you did that separated you from the aspiring trader? I actually put in the fucking work. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Right? Do you think that I am a successful trader because I was born with it? Do you think I'm a successful trader because my arm and the way I use a mouse is better than yours? No, man. Just like learning anything else in the world, no matter what, you're never an expert on day one. You have to learn, right? You have to learn. I'm gonna join MIC with this 420 discount. Yeah, man. Like, do you guys see this, guys? We want to be able to help you guys, man. We have to. It's. I know what it's like, man. I know what it's like on 420. I know what it's like. But when is the next time that you're gonna be 420? When it's gonna be 420 during quarantine, where you're not allowed to leave the house, guys? Confused on the video library, oldest to newest or newest to oldest. The video library on YouTube and on MIC is newest to oldest always. It's the most recent videos first. Duh. Any other questions, guys? I'm going to start to wrap this up. Also, what I want to do is this. At the end of these videos, I want you guys to comment one lesson that you learned from this video, right? So do this for me, guys. Comment one lesson you learned from this video and why you thought it was helpful, just so that this is your way of being quizzed after the video. This is your way of seeing if you actually understood something from this video. And if you didn't, probably you should go back and rewatch it again, guys. Do I prefer trading with small size or bigger size? I prefer trading with small size because it allows me to be more nimble. And I've been trading small size for about 2 years now, and has yielded to more profits. So again, guys, text Tosh 420 at 213-458-5997, and we'll work on something personal for you guys. Thank you, guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks.